Hi guys, this is my Pothos and this is the golden variety. It is a variegated one. I think on my wish list I would really like to get the jade, but I still haven't gotten that yet. So what's the difference between the golden and the jade? The golden has some yellow variegation, which is right here. She is more green than any kind of variegation, and I do prefer that. But I'm not doing that on purpose. It's just that that's just how she's getting it. And I think it's because she's about 10 to 12 feet away from an east facing window. So she does get some light, and it can get kind of bright with indirect light. And that's why I think her leaves are really beautiful and perfect to me. To get this to have more variegation, if that's what you would prefer, I would suggest you can put this closer to an eastern window. The only way you can really tell if it's working and you're getting the variegation that you prefer is if the light for the variegation that you would like is that when you hit it a spot, the new growth will have more yellow in them, like this, versus this. Like you have a little speckle of yellow here, which is the variegation, and this one had just a very tiny bit and very, very tiny spots. But this one is pretty much all green, but you don't really get that much variegation, and I don't really mind. I'm not really a big fan of the golden anyway, but I am a big fan of a pothos. I actually do prefer the golden or the jade. I actually prefer the jade the best. It's just that you can put it in such low light and it will still grow, but you can't put it with no light. No light equals no growth. So I'm just going to show you. She's on this plant stand right now just to show you guys. She has grown. I just looked into my channel and I guess I forgot to vlog this for whatever reason. I don't know why I forgot. I just got probably busy. So I've had this plant, I would say a few months now. And when I did get her, she was not this viney for sure. She was probably having leaves all around, but not really like if she had any kind of long growth, this was the longest part, or it looked like this. But this is, I've already had her for a few months, so this is new growth. The thing is that I really love about the pothos is that it's slightly hardier than a philodendron scandens, in my personal opinion. And I think it's because the leaves are just slightly thicker than the philodendron scandens. Philodendron scandens, in my opinion and my personal experience, they tend to burn a little bit quicker, and as the pothos do not, from just my personal experience with that. And pothos was one of my first few plants that I ever got, and I remember that it was just on a shelf, not getting direct light at all, and it just thrived. And when I put it directly next to a window, it thrived as well. And that's why I was always hunting for a pothos again. And for whatever reason, I only really found the marble queen and the pearls. I think it's called pearls and jade. And I was having a hard time finding just the jade. And I finally found a golden, and I'm like, you know what? It's better than nothing. The reason I prefer the plain jade, it's plain green, and when it's just all green and no variegation, it actually does grow faster, and it doesn't need as much light because it's completely green. So let me just show you where she sits. So she usually sits right here. And she gets good amount of light, but I think this particular plant would probably need a little bit more light. And the reason that I say is because most of her is really more green. She's looking more jade than anything. I do rotate her when I do water. I believe I water her once a week or every other week. It's just with the pothos, the difference with the pothos and the philodendron from my personal experience is the pothos actually prefer a little bit more water. I mean, it can actually tolerate a little less water than the philodendron from my personal experience. Philodendron, from my personal experience, it seems to be a little bit more thirstier. Like you can't let them dry out. A pothos, you can. And sometimes they tend to get overwatered if it is too, like if you're watering it like a philodendron scandens, from my experience. So here she is, and boy, is she a monster. This is the reason I really love the pothos, especially this one and the jade, is that they just grow really well. I've been having issues especially in the beginning for my marble queen. But for this one, she just thrives. It's just beautiful and amazing. And of course, the way I water her isn't something that you should be aware of. It can be a guide for you. But whenever you have a new plant, you want it to acclimate. If you're new to the pothos variety, what I would recommend is you check. I would say the standard usually is like 7 days is safe for this particular plant, if in case you're watering it every 7 days. And everybody's environment is different, so you can't really base it on how many days you should water. But when you water for the second time, if it starts to yellow and it's a little bit like wilty or cold or mushy, it's overwatered. If she's a little bit yellow and it's got like brown tips too, that can be underwatered. So I would suggest adjust it by the day. I wouldn't be drastic in which like you adjust it in a week or something, but I would say also start with 7 days. That's a good start, and then you can adjust it there. For me, I make sure that it's not sitting in water, and I always make sure I give it a good amount of volume. Probably for this, I would say I'd give it like a quarter, maybe a third cup. And everything that I do include in the water will be down in the description box, just like or description section, just like my social media accounts are there as well. So do check that out if you're curious to see what I do use. I've never really had an issue with her, and I guess I just kind of ignore her, and maybe, because she's just in a corner, I just don't really see her unless I water her, and maybe that's why I kind of forgot. I don't really know. I do suffer from PCS, amnesia, short-term memory loss, and long-term memory loss. So I just don't remember. But what I do remember is she's been with me for a few months, and that's it. She hasn't been with me for a year. That's all I know. So she's really grown. I would say this has grown. Probably when this started, it was probably like here or here when it started. This one probably wasn't even that long yet. It was still kind of tight to the top. Yeah, she has definitely grown, and it's just amazing. I love watching my plant baby grows. And another thing why I do my plant vlogs is that I could go back and just watch them over and over again and just see the difference, just see the difference in what happens in a few months or several months or a year or years from now, and just be like, oh my gosh, it used to be so tiny. I just love doing that. I just love it. So here she is. If you have any questions, anything to do with this particular plant and variety, let me know in the comment section. I love talking to you guys all the time. If there's anything else that I might have missed, let me know in the comment section as well. I will try to answer everybody's questions as quickly as possible, and of course try to include them in the updated vlog for this particular plant. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye!